What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Foreign Express podcast. My name is Joe, and this is
Collins J.
And our brother, Mr. Dubem K. Yeah, it's our second episode, and we are proud to be bringing you back this episode. Today, we have a lot of topics to discuss, and we're going to try and make sure we cover it in the time that we have. Mr. Collins, give us a rundown of what we are having. But you know what, guys?
Yeah.
This is our second podcast. Round of applause, guys. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy when you have to keep the consistency, the motivation. Yeah.
Consistency.
The consistency.
With two podcasts.
This is proudly brought to you by
Foreign Express. What's going on World Cup? Are you guys watching World Cup or just what's going on? Mr. Joe.
I think Dubem is the right person to start with today. This podcast wasn't going to happen.
Okay,
if Argentina lost tonight, guys, we are recording on the night when Argentina played Poland.
Yeah.
This podcast is on the same night. So imagine, Kene just told us that if Argentina lost today, there was not going to be a podcast today. And I think I would concur, right? I would also agree with you.
After 90 minutes ago, we just talk a bit as guys, please catch a taxi.
Just go home.
Can I call a boat for you guys?
So Mr. Kenya, which team are you betting on this World Cup?
Or
to win, like which team, what has been your best team so far, and which team are you betting on, like in these games?
Subjectively, based on my heart, I want Argentina to win for real because I think this is Messi's last shot.
It's also
for me, it's already the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But he still has that dark cloud hanging on his head. You haven't won the World Cup, oh. You haven't won the World Cup, oh. Until he gets it, before we can say okay. But for me, for the fact that he went to a final and he took his team to the final, I assume that is already a big feat. However, I would like him to win it. But objectively, based on the stats, based on what the country has in their paper or in the amount of stars they have, I would say Brazil. If I want to be objective.
Well,
bro, those guys don't need Neymar to win this World Cup, man.
They're already
too good. They're all good.
They're all too good. Even Neymar is injured, but you saw they played the last game. They still played really well.
That's it.
They're winning every game.
Objectively, I think realistically that they're going to win, but where my heart lies, I would say it's Argentina.
How about Joe?
Like, you know something, just before I even share mine, there's also a funny thing I saw, like, in the past game when Senegal lost its game last time. The guy said, we were good on paper, but the game was played on the field. Objectively, you have a good squad with good players and everything looks good on paper.
On paper,
but when you go on the field, there's usually a big surprise, and that's what's happening now. With everything. But I also think I would also agree, man. I know that usually every time the World Cup starts, I always go with African teams first. I'm very patriotic. It doesn't matter if it's like Morocco, Tunisia. I'm always patriotic, bro. And then the moment those teams are out of the bigger, the group stages, then I start supporting the team that I had as a second choice. So first choice is usually an African team. Then second choice, I would put it now. Like this time, I know that when the World Cup was starting, my second choice was Argentina. That was 100%. So this is why this was very important last weekend.
I have a feeling.
Very important.
I have a feeling you guys are all on are all talking about Argentina because of Messi, like
Bro,
one figure.
Okay, of course.
Yeah.
Like the thing is that like we can go into the books to debate about Messi or Ronaldo being the best player, but and this is what even Morgan Pierce posted last time, that by far Cristiano is the greatest player in this of our time. And I say, we can objectively go and debate about it. Messi's this, look at
Check
the stats. But
man.
the thing is that if you don't have a World Cup, you don't have it, because we have already seen the trend, right? Pele has a World Cup, Maradona has a World Cup. So now it's up to Messi.
Messi or Cristiano,
so if I know that people are going to, like, I know right now with the kind of way Ronaldo is scoring goals, that one I won't even want to get into it because it's just a shame. We can be cancelled for this. But it's very embarrassing to see the kind of goals he's scoring. But if at all Ronaldo. Portugal wins the World Cup,
man,
with this kind of way, and and they say Cristiano is the best player,
you wouldn't.
But if at all it comes to that, we shall say, what, he has a World Cup. Whether Messi has done what, it's already done.
You give it to him,
it's already done. But in our hearts, we shall know. The small man is the best player of our generation.
Well, still on this topic, do you guys think, in the grand scheme of things, World Cup is the ultimate stamp of a player's status.
I wouldn't think that way, but because World Cup, sometimes it's luck. People score goals by mistake. There's a lot of things involved. Sometimes it's luck, and it's the players that you're playing with. So let's say the same way Cristiano plays with, let's say when Cristiano is in Manchester. Okay, Cristiano was a star when he was in Real Madrid, right?
True.
That's the time where he made the most records.
But I think it was in Manchester.
Manchester is when he blew up. Like that's why he started. Yeah.
And I think that's where he got. I think it was with Juventus, right?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
2014.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
That was the best season for him ever, when he had the most goals or something.
Really?
I'm not
in
so
Juve,
sure, but
Real?
maybe when he was in Juve.
No, I think the team that made Cristiano. I feel like every team added something to him. The team that put him out there was Manchester. And then when he went to Real Madrid, he did a lot of things.
Molded him, he gave him that
molded
status,
him, and he was winning all these trophies and things like this. And then, like, it depends to the players that he plays with. So if you bring Cristiano and put him in Manchester again, you may not see his results.
No, but he's back in Manchester and we're not seeing his results.
No, we're not seeing his results. That's what that's the same thing I'm trying to drive to.
That the age factor comes in. You know, like, he's not the same kid he was when he was, I don't know, 18, 19,
running up and down.
20, and he had
running
all that
up
pace.
and down. Yeah.
But me, I always think that the World Cup is might not be the stamp for validating every player, but I think playing at a global stage where you have your best, it's like the country chooses its best players to go and compete.
Yeah.
And I think that's the time when most of the scouts come out. Like, I've already seen talks about Liverpool. Is it Liverpool? I think it was like Liverpool showing interest in getting Mohamed Kudus. Like, scouts are already trying to pick him up. And I was like, what? But I think it's like there's just so much talk around it. Like, this is when scouts really come out to look for talent. And I kid you not, this World Cup has shown some things to me that even I have agreed that there are some players who are in the Middle East, playing in the Middle East, that I didn't know had that good potential. Look at the Saudi Arabian team, bro.
Yep.
Look at Iranian team.
Yep.
I was so blown away, man. I was even cracking a joke that I don't be surprised if I come here one day wearing a Saudi Arabian jersey. No, that's how convinced I was, bro.
It can happen,
so, I mean,
you get touched.
Yeah, you see
a lot of talent is exposed, like in such global matches and things like this.
Yeah.
But I feel like, driving back to my point, what Kenny asked is, I feel like sometimes it matters the players you play with, the players that you're used to, because in World Cup, most of these players don't usually play with their teammates. They play with Cristiano is playing with different players, let's say in
a club level.
Yeah, in a club level. So probably he has more impact there compared to when you bring him to World Cup and he's playing with his fellow countrymen. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, his performance could be affected in that way. So, but driving to the same point, I think World Cup isn't the ultimate. How do they say?
Ultimate,
of determining if the player is the best, or whoever wins World Cup is the best, or something like this. I don't think it would.
If I should add just a few points, I think why I asked that question was, there are lots of things that can go wrong during a World Cup and before a World Cup. We can testify, for example, Mane has been the best African player for a couple of years at the moment, right?
Yeah.
But due to injury, he could not represent his country. And so many things can go wrong because World Cup is 1 month in every 4 years. You see, so it's a kind of unfair advantage.
It's unfair advantage,
or unfair disadvantage for some people as well. So I think it doesn't show a consistency of a player. For example, a player can be that great whenever he's played for the national team.
Yeah.
But on club level wins nothing. Are you gonna call that the greatest of all time still?
No, I think they all add up. That's why you have, like, I've seen situations where, let's say, like, players haven't had a club for a long time, but they're still called to the national team, and the country people complain, why are they calling this person who has not been even playing having that time on field? Now, like, I just saw a tweet today about all the guys like Rashford, Fernandes, who have not really had game time on field, are performing well at the World Cup, and people are blaming that. Imagine all the guys who have been benched throughout most of the games are now outstanding in the World Cup, and they're asking, like, what's wrong with Ten Hag? and someone was like, why isn't anyone talking about Cristiano if you're talking about the bench? It's like, it makes sense. Yeah.
But just 7 matches within 1 month.
Yeah, it's very short time.
It's so short. So even
if
they perform well, it doesn't mean that they
doesn't mean that they're going to recognize you. But the thing is, how do they recognize the best players? They look at tournaments, how the players played in a season, right?
Okay,
and then
I think everything adds up. Like what I was saying,
everything.
like everything adds up. So let me say that depends on the league you're in. So we know the biggest leagues in the world, right? So there are some players who look at certain leagues as the way to get to the top of, like, for example, winning a UEFA Champions League trophy is important for so many players. Like I was saying, if they talk about like Sadio Mane, say, you see Sadio Mane has won a UEFA Champions League match with Liverpool. I mean, trophy with Liverpool. It gives them stats, right? Cristiano has already done it, and one of the reasons why Cristiano also was running away from certain teams apparently was because because the team he's in is not going to the Champions League.
Yeah.
And that's why he wants to go with one that's going to be in the Champions League.
Because he's about to retire.
And I think also Karim Benzema got the Ballon d'Or because of his outstanding performance in the Champions League, remember? Towards the end.
Also in La Liga, they won La Liga
for sure. But if you saw what happened in the last stages of the Champions, that was the craziest time. I was like, bro, still got it. Don't rule him out. You get what I mean? So now, like, that was like an awakening for most people, and they were like, you know what? This guy is going to get a Ballon d'Or, and we cannot argue about it.
Okay, we are going too far. Let's go back to the World Cup. Let's go back to the World Cup. Maybe we can talk about our best teams. What are the best games that we've seen in this World Cup? I think that would be, maybe people will be more engaged with what do you guys think has been the best team? What's been the best game? What are your opinions? You can drop some comments, you know what I'm saying? Some comments, and let us know, and let's share. Let's keep the discussion going on. So guys, what has been your best game like in the World Cup so far? Which team are you betting on that, man, this game was really the best game so far? Like, this was the best goal. Of course, we know the best goal.
Don't say it.
I won't say it.
If you're not going to say it's going to be Abu Bakar's goal, don't say it.
It was no, bro.
Richarlison's goal was sick.
It was Ronaldo's penalty, guys. Come on, bro.
Penaldo.
It was Ronaldo's penalty. Yeah, that's why I think, in my opinion, like, Ronaldo scored the penalty, and that blew everybody's mind. Nobody said
Richarlison.
I'm going with Richarlison, I think.
Yeah. That was, of course, the best goal.
I don't know why, I feel like, usually with the acrobatic goals, people usually give it as the best goals. But the reason why I wouldn't say that was my favorite goal, I would give it to Abu Bakar. Because do you know what it took for him to beat the defender first? I don't know if you saw the goal, Cameroon. Abu Bakar's
I didn't watch
goal.
that game.
So basically, he got a through pass. So it's 1-on-1 with the keeper. The defender is falling back to come and stop the ball.
Yeah.
So first thought from a striker is try and finish, because the keeper has come out of the goal. Just try and finish before the defender gets to you. He took the patience to dribble and let the defender pass, left with the keeper, and he lifted the ball over the keeper, and the ball went and bounced in the goal. Like, that shows you, for me, that was the most outstanding goal. Not because he's African, just because of his, patience, skill. And he wasn't under pressure with the way he finished. It looked like he knew what he was doing. It wasn't an accident. He just said,
I think that's a very close second. I think if there's second, very close, because of that bad ball I think there was also a huge amount of luck with that chip. Because if that chip bounced an inch earlier, it would have gone over the goal. And secondly, that chip was too high, bro.
I think, like, how people determine how people usually determine the best goal. Like you said, acrobatic goals are usually what captures people's minds.
Yeah.
Because they always replay them. Every time they are talking about World Cup, they will replay that same goal, and something like this. But and how about if we talk about the best game? What has been the best game? Your hearts were taken by Saudi Arabia.
At least for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what about Fukeno, but that would
for me the most enjoyable was that Serbian Cameroon. That match was hot. When I say A to Z, because I recall when when Joe wrote me and told me, "Are you watching Cameroon match?" I'm like, "Sure." It was like 3-1 at that time,
Yeah.
and I thought Cameroon was done. Then they came in. Do you know that if Choupo-Moting, if you only use this is medulla oblongata, if you use it once to just react and shoot the ball in 2 situations, they would have easily won it. And I can imagine that would have been the best game of the World Cup.
Correct.
From 3-1 to 4-3.
Yes.
You can't beat that.
Damn, that's crazy.
At least for now. Yeah, man. That would have been easy. And then imagine if they qualify, because I believe that Cameroonian team, they have something in them. There was something that happened with this second group stage matches. For some reason, something just sparked up in the African teams, except Tunisia that messed up, but others excel to some level.
Yeah.
How about to run down the most disappointing teams?
Sheesh.
I think I'll go first. Let me go first.
Go first.
And I'm going to look at the camera and say, Denmark. Most disappointing team for me this World Cup so far.
German.
Germany I can forgive, but Germany, no, you're right actually.
German is a strong team.
World Cup holders, you know.
Yeah, 2014.
But the World Cup is different, bro.
That's different.
But no, Denmark, they didn't have life, bro. I know I think it's hard to play.
Actually, those days, usually the top teams were always German, Brazil, England. I think those were the strongest teams. Like back days when we were kids, something like
France.
this.
France out there.
Yeah.
For me, I would say Belgium, man.
Belgium.
Yeah.
Even that first game they won, it was just by luck. Those guys are trash. Their game, not the people, but their game
Careful,
is
man.
trash.
They might call you and
They
say
might
you come and
cancel
play.
you.
You come and play and see.
With that amount of star-studded team,
Yeah.
a star-studded team, they can't play together. First of all, their defense is like a hole. It's just a walk in the park. To break their defense is very easy. They are playing. Is it Adewewe? I've forgotten his name. Toby. He's old. Vertonghen is old. They can't run anymore. The entire back line it's a mess. The only thing they have there, I think, is De Bruyne and their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Not even Hazard. Eden
Hazard.
Hazard.
Trash,
he's good,
man.
bro. He played really well. At least from what I saw, he really played well.
He played well, but he could not play well for long. He can't
Yeah.
play more than 60 minutes anymore. You can see it's obvious that he wants to do it, but the body can't do it anymore at that age, man.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I think this also raises that factor that doesn't mean that football is best played by the young. If that's the question, the reason why I'm saying this is that the way I'm asking this question is that if we look back in the days, let's talk about, like, I don't know if you watched the 2002 World Cup, Collins, but
yeah, I used to watch. Yeah, I remember. I was in primary school. I remember.
But remember how those players looked old, you guy. They looked mature. I was like, bro, these guys looked very old, man. The players of today, you can look at them and say, these guys look young. But back in the day, you look at guys, bro. You look at, like, let me say, who? Let's go with, like, Rivaldo, or I know at that time Ronaldinho was still a young boy. Look at people like
Ronaldo,
Papa Diop from Senegal. We had hard players also.
Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho looked young at that time. There was also the Ronaldo with this
Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Bebeto.
Yes.
Roberto Carlos.
Juninho.
But what was this guy called? Batez of France, the goalkeeper. You remember Zidane was already looking. Those guys looked mature by that time.
The German goalkeeper. He was the best keeper of the world or something.
Oliver
Kahn. Yeah.
You know, I would like to say that just something I noticed, because of this is a huge topic that we should talk about, really, because of the longevity of players are reducing as time goes on. Like players of 30, we see them as old already.
True.
Which
30 is not old. Yeah,
true.
30 is not old. Back in the day, even now in 27, it's like he's old already. We can't splash this money on him.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo made that point on Piers Morgan. I think that was the part of the entire interview that touched me when he said that longevity is a dying art. I'm just trying to paraphrase it to the way I understand and for the audience as well. But the point he was making is that most players are concerned on other things except football. Deals, they're playing around, They're buying the most latest things. They can't stay at one place and listen. Like he said, when he was a young kid, he's the first to arrive in the training and last to leave.
Yes.
And then he was like,
he was like
a I won't say he was like not a servant, but rather he was very obedient to the senior players, trying to read what made them play for this long at this top level. I would say the problem is that players have shifted their priority.
It's now more commercial.
Yeah, they want to make the money, get the fame, get all the good part of it, and then the passion dies out. It's no longer for money. Of course, we do most things we do for money, but that part of, even if you don't love it, but be committed to the process. It's so obvious these days that players do not want to play for long.
I think in the current generation, it's about young players have more enthusiasm. You get what I'm saying? Like
No. I wouldn't agree with that. I would disagree with
it. They've always been enthusiastic as a footballer.
Yes.
Football is one of the best paying jobs in this world.
Yeah, that's
Even
true.
if at a low tier team, you're one of the top 10 paid people in the world. I mean, even if you're playing for Derby County or very third team, they're earning about £3,000 per week. Who earns that?
Yeah. You don't earn that in an ordinary situation.
That's the same thing. Is if you get these young players,
I'm gonna be enthusiastic, brother.
That's the same thing that I'm saying. If you get young players that they're enthusiastic for that lifestyle, you get what I'm saying? Like it's a dream for them.
I think
it's like when you was in school and you're trying to apply for a job. The first time you get onto a job, you're gonna be the best colleague in the team. You're listening to your teammates, you're listening to your team leads, everything. That's the same thing. It applies also in football. You get what I'm saying?
I don't do it. No. I'm from 8 to
No. Later on, when you've established yourself, you have the skills. Now you're gonna be the boss. That means
but you see, the thing is that
that's why clubs don't prefer. They prefer to get the younger players because they know they are gonna do the job. The older players.
I agree.
Downgraded.
I think like in the past, it wasn't about money. It was about passion.
Yes.
It was just about passion. This is what I always believe. Like even if I'm even to use your same logic, do you know the reason why like we say like some of our parents stayed in their jobs until they were like 20 years, 30 years in one job, and you ask yourself like, what did you do? Why would you stay in a company for all that time, and yet you know that if you move to in another company, likely chances of getting better pay is higher. But you see, for them, sometimes it wasn't about even just like the money. It's like the longer you stay, chances of climbing up the ladder of leadership, or you have better perks for retirement and stuff, or benefits increase.
Yeah.
It's just about even just avoiding
loyalty bonuses.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the loyalty bonuses. Yes, exactly.
Loyalty,
like those things. I think also are in football. The longer you stay with the club, and that's why you find like, I think even like for Messi, I wouldn't say like for Messi he would have gone to another club, but I know that they were paying him well. And even when he was about, you remember when this whole thing that when he had this whole crisis, he said it wasn't about the money. He was willing to still stay.
Yeah. No, he had the heart. He had the heart. Like
he was willing to stay at Barcelona even if he was being paid less. But that's just to show you that for him it's all about the game. So we still have those senior players.
He had a better game there.
Those senior players who just have that closeness. Let me say like they are in for the game, and it's not about the way like everything
but
every sport has become commercialized now, honestly, because like every company is spending money on advertising for every event, and all these companies that run these events, they know this is how they make their money. So like look at the World Cup, like Coca-Cola being the main partner for FIFA for this World Cup. Do you know how much they have to pay for that?
Coca-Cola is a very loaded company.
I mean, like for them, I feel like people.
It's more publicity for them.
But they
first
still
of all,
pay money for that.
They pay, but remember, it's also more publicity. There's no company that goes in a deal when they haven't.
It's the prestige that comes with it.
It comes with a lot of prestige, and that means in that World Cup there will be a lot of Coca-Cola brands being sold. Like there's the way they earn into it. Like these companies, they do their. By the time they go into a deal, they've done their studies and everything. That's I think.
Sorry guys, we had a technical issue. So if you see this cut, it meant that we just had a technical issue with the camera. But just jumping back to my point. What was I saying about the advertisers? The more advertisers are in a competition, let's say at the world level, it means that more, not just the world level, any event or something, that means that there's more money, which can easily go back down to the people who are contributing. So that's why you see like with soccer, the league is able to go in well because advertisers are there as well. People are watching, people are paying money, guys are betting. There's merchandise being sold. So
Merchandise,
there's so much
yes.
going on. So that's why, like, right now, I'm not going to just be biased about it, but let me say if we bring the issue of Ronaldo and Messi again in the picture. Messi's good by his right. He's the world's best player by his right. But the reason why many people are going to find Ronaldo more outstanding is because it's more into that commercialized side.
Yeah.
You see that he's more of the guy whom everyone knows because it's
Everybody
really out
knows.
into the public.
Yeah.
You know,
And he speaks
that's
English.
the reason
And
why
I
I'm
think
it's also a big thing.
language.
language.
He speaks two of the biggest languages in the world, Spanish and English.
Yeah.
So you can cover, I think, a huge population of the world's attention with just
Exactly.
two languages.
with just two
Right,
languages.
right.
Because people in US know Ronaldo, but they don't know Messi.
True.
Messi has never been on any of these big interviews. Let's say
No,
with
I
Piers
doubt.
Morgan.
I doubt.
Because
No.
they can't communicate in any
No,
way.
he can, but he doesn't
They'll bring a
prioritize it.
translator. The
They'll
whole
need
time.
a translator.
say
But it's not
he
even
cannot
fun.
communicate.
Imagine you're sitting with Ronaldo and you're interviewing him and he has to...
Speaking
Probably the
Portuguese.
translator may say the wrong thing and he answers a different
But
question.
that's how they do it. Most
the
presidents
time.
do that.
Yeah, I know, like they do it, but it's not fun. It's not even fun.
Yeah.
How would I put Ronaldo on a podcast? I saw it Messi on a podcast.
No,
No,
you
but
can't.
they
you
do
can't.
it. They did it for like
Not on a podcast, but
lots
an
of
interview.
presidents.
Yeah.
They have their translator. And another thing is that if you're a huge public figure, you want to make sure you're saying the right things. I think it's better if you have a translator
Yeah.
than saying the wrong thing and then you're like, this is not what you meant. Because we have that situation
Yeah.
whereby, let's say, you say you speak Hungarian and someone says something in Hungarian, you respond, but you didn't really understand it properly and you said the wrong thing and the person now start judging you. But don't know that, okay, there was a misunderstanding. So it's better we just avoid that than having issues if you're not very proficient in it. So most presidents in the world, they can speak English to some level, but they always still have a translator in their ear,
Translator in the
making
ear.
sure there's no... Bro, because as a president or someone that's a huge figure like Ronaldo or Messi, for example, just one word, you can just say one thing
Yeah.
and it can change the whole nation.
The whole nation.
Messi can say one thing and it change the whole PSG football.
PSG.
That's the power of these guys have. So I understand if Messi is avoiding interview like that.
Messi.
This guy.
but You guys are dripping. Oh my god.
It's like
No, I remember that from Takeoff. Like when he answered, like he had this interview with I think it was I remember.
drink champs.
Yeah, something like it was already or something. It was already, and he did the whole interview with ad libs. The whole interview with just ad libs. Every question they asked him it was an ad lib. Like it was crazy. Yeah. So back to you.
You made him
Mr.
lose his train of thought.
No, I was just saying that man,
It is gone.
when he comes back,
We shall jump back to it.
Money.
But let's just say that from what we've seen right now with how and I know Cristiano even emphasized this in that interview that right now it's all commercialized.
yeah.
Every sport is commercialized. I personally went to a baseball game in the US when I traveled to the US, and I remember just sitting there in the stadium. I have no clue what I watched. I understand no rules, nothing. I was there for the experience, right?
Yeah.
And it was just very interesting how you feel the energy around the sport itself, but you can understand, even you can know that it's also commercialized by how things are, how there are sessions in between the breaks that are put for advertising. You know,
Okay, I think this is how
Yeah.
sponsors earn from being sponsors on an event. A lot of people come out to watch the World Cup. They pay tickets, they buy merchandise, everything. Like let's say every drink that they buy, probably it could be like all the drinks they're gonna sell in the stadium. They're gonna be Coca-Cola drinks. Every T-shirt is gonna be probably made by Coca-Cola. Everything, that means they get a commission from every product that is sold. Everything that is sold that belongs to them.
when you say commission, you mean in terms of
Percentage.
from the things being sold, or
Things being sold, a commission of the tickets being bought, a commission of, because as long as their name is branded on the ticket, they have to get a commission of it.
No,
I
but
think
yeah,
I think it's different.
for me,
I don't know,
the
like,
truth
I
is,
think-
when I see sponsors, there are two categories. of sponsorship.
They are putting
They have
money
different
in.
packages.
One is brand awareness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 2 is lead conversion. And that is, you want to find potential partnership from different people. It could be footballers using their clout or whatever to be able to expose your brand more, or to convert them to be part of your brand, to attract more customers to you. That's lead conversion. So most companies as well, they go out in the market like this to pull in leads. Leads are potential. They're not customers yet, but they are potential clients in the future.
Potential customers, yeah.
So those are usually the main 2 reasons when you have sponsorship or you see brand putting their crest into an event. Those are usually why they do it.
I also think it's in case things go bad, you have a backup. They're like guarantors. Like they put in money, but then they have to earn from everything they put in.
I remember
in
when
end.
we were still working for a certain organization in Uganda. They're not sponsoring this, so I'm trying to avoid the name. We run an event, and I remember how we would do this is that you create packages. So the main stage where every speaker is going to be, that's the diamond package. It means that whoever is buying that is paying the most money to be there, because that's where like the cameras, everyone sees the brand and it's in your face. It's like you get the most publicity there. Then you have things like silver and platinum and stuff like that. I'm just giving examples. So different packages. So depending on how much a company is willing to invest in the advertising, they will say, for example, like, we don't have a lot of money for this, but I think we're going to go for like the silver package. Okay. Silver package would mean like, just put our branding at the main entrance or something like that. But main entrance is also so obvious. I think that's still diamond or whatever, or platinum or whatever, because that's when everyone sees it when you're coming and on the stage. But I imagine like it's in places where, like next to the toilet. I'm just giving an example.
Toilet paper.
Because everyone is going to go to the toilet. Just giving as an example. But you get my point.
Yeah.
So like, if you look at what's happening now with like the FIFA, I would say like, for example, with the stuff on the side, what they call those, like the boards. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a name for it. So like those you'll see like the companies that are official sponsors of the FIFA World Cup. They have different packages, so you'll find like the number of times your brand is shown on that thing also matters. So they say we're going to show your brand in the 90 minutes that we're going to show it like 5 times, 10 times, whatever you get. So if you want to have it as 20 times, 30 times, you have to pay more money for that.
Yeah.
So that means that they have software or whatever that automates everything. And the more that times people see that. So now if you're like the official World Cup sponsor, like Coca-Cola is for FIFA, they are the ones who get the center stage. So FIFA cannot do anything without including them in all their main branding. I mean, you can decide to put the other companies in another way, in a booklet and what, no, but on the front cover of everything they put is Coca-Cola. You get Coca-Cola this, Coca-Cola that, Coca-Cola this. So they cut across with everything. So it's kind of like we have paid the most money, so put us on the most important stuff. So this is how it works. And I know we've gone too much into this business side.
We have.
But just coming back into this essence of like the World Cup, right? So like even just with this whole thing that we're seeing is happening, and we're coming back to that point of, does it take a player to get the World Cup to be considered the greatest? And I still think that if it's in terms of how many times, let's say Messi or Cristiano won the Ballon d'Or, then it shouldn't be a debate. Guys should just say Messi is the best player. But people are saying, you know what, that doesn't matter. You can get those ones, you can get the golden boots, but you still have a World Cup title. Like, can you take your team to victory?
Which is very open for debate, I would say.
It's open for it's debatable. It's debatable.
It's a very slim chance that, let's say, for example, Hamsik, he's from Slovenia. No matter how he balls in his life, he will never win the World Cup.
Thank you,
Hamsik.
Imagine,
for example, let's say you're born in Lithuania, and you're the craziest left-footed player or right-footed player.
No, just don't make it hard. Imagine Messi was born in Lithuania, which doesn't even qualify for World Cup.
Or Macedonia.
Yes, something like this. That's how you could put it.
But for sure that you can play on club level and excel.
Play on club level,
but you see, the thing is this is what I believe again. like if you really see the players, like again bringing it back on paper, Cristiano and Messi, if you look at what they've done for their teams, you know what they usually say is that when one player can carry the whole team. You felt that with the last game. We just watched it on the weekend when Argentina played against Mexico. The pressure that was on Messi to make the difference. He knows it. It's not just about him doing it for his country. It's also his status. But at the end of it all, I know Messi is doing it for the country. And the pressure... And you watch that documentary, that quick documentary about the reason why Messi cannot still go down in the greats is until he has the World Cup in his hands.
Yeah,
right?
right.
So it shows you how much that influences a lot of the best players. Like, let's say, for example, how many times has Luka Modric been called as, for a Ballon d'Or? He has been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Even just this guy, Lewandowski, being nominated for the Ballon d'Or. You can get it. As, you're the best player of the last whatever, for the last year you were the best player. But the moment you are getting Ballon d'Ors like Messi and Cristiano left, right, and then you get the World Cup, debate ends. Guys be like, bro, who has the World Cup?
Messi.
You get it's
True,
like
but I think it's still. I think when you use this, is my own opinion. I think the good thing that I like how we're saying from different angle. It's if you say Ballon d'Or, we can use it by count. How many times have you done it? Right? How many trophies do you have in your cabinet? Brother, you had 15 years in football. Show us. What do you have to show for it? But for World Cup, we're just fortunate that Messi is in Argentina and Ronaldo is fortunate in Portugal. They could have been in any other team in this world. They could have been Indians. It's possible. So I think it's not a fair judgment of a player's prestige to stamp it on its face that, okay, since you won the World Cup, you were this great.
But I don't think it even runs down like that anymore. I think that was back in the days.
Back in the day when World Cup and Nations Cup were such a big deal, they were way bigger than club level football. Like, check it, for example, this World Cup, when people said the World Cup, for example, they're saying winter break. Okay, it'll be 1 month and then we go back into the nitty gritty.
Back into business.
Back into business.
Yeah.
So World Cup and Nations Cup are now looking like breaks. Even during this qualifying stage, most of us did not watch the matches. But back in the days, even qualifying matches, even friendly, bro, I'm watching the screen. So the fact is that the team, you're not able to over commercialize Nations Cup or African Cup or let's say World Cup because of you don't have star players centered in one team like club level football. It's losing that attraction, losing that interest as well from us as well. Because of you cannot change your destiny in World Cups as a national team. You cannot change the team you're born into, but you can change your destiny and faith on how your career will end in a club level.
That's true.
You have the choice there.
I agree with that too.
100%.
Yeah. But in national team, you don't have the choice. Okay, you say my mom, you have to blame your dad and your mom for giving birth to you here. Because Messi had a chance to play for Spain. Do you know that in 2010, and that means he would have been a so-called GOAT. Greatest
let's
ever.
Let's put it like
Messi
this.
Playing for Spain.
Let's put it like this.
He had to
Biggest
decide.
rivals.
He had to decide Argentina or Spain in 2010 when Spain won the World Cup.
Let's even put it like this. The last World Cup, France won the World Cup previously, but we have of course we have a lot of players. We have a lot of players from France that are not on top of their game. You get what I'm saying? Like, do we still base that because they won the World Cup that they are the best players in the world? No, we don't judge it like that anymore.
But I think that just sorry, Kenneth, to jump into it.
No,
like,
sure.
What I'm thinking of is like, think about it this way, right? The competition is between two people right now, and we don't need to even like. I know we can call in other players who are really doing well. But you cannot compare like the stats in terms of like the numbers these two guys are bringing, Cristiano and Messi. Like whether you want it or not, these guys have really pulled the numbers, and we have seen the numbers from the past. The competition looked tight between them, and I remember when Cristiano went into the Spanish La Liga, with Real Madrid, and Messi was in Barcelona. the thing was Messi versus Ronaldo. Like it was obvious. I know it's like the two biggest teams in the La Liga.
No, I think these are the two biggest players, so it will always be them against them.
That's why, like, and you get my point. Is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sense. Like, if you bring in, let's say, I know, like, people like Luka Modric. Luka Modric is so good. Lewandowski, the guy scored a lot of goals. But the reason why he cannot go in between the greats is because look at who has the Ballon d'Ors. Like, it shows you
that's fair. Ballon d'Or is fair because you have a choice to be that great.
Yes.
You have an agent who can give you the team you want to play in. So it's your choice if you don't win Ballon d'Or.
No, actually, let's in your hand. This is what's gonna end the conversation.
But if my point before it just jumps out of my head, just before I lose the train of thought, is that now that we understand that these two guys have the numbers and they've been pulling it in terms of the number of goals scored, in terms of their performance, just generally how they perform in a game. And how much influence they have to turn the games, right? When you look at these, it becomes something that we are all used to. Like, Cristiano will win another Ballon d'Or, for example, and we just say, oh, he won another Ballon d'Or, it's fine. Then it's like, he won the Euros with the Euros, the UEFA Euro, which we just had recently. Yeah, he won with Portugal. Guys will be like, oh, okay. But it's because we're waiting for one thing. And that one thing is just the one thing that will seal the deal and make it real. Whoever wins it, because I mean, how many times? Okay, now like Messi won the Copa America last time with Argentina. Let's just say Argentina won the Copa America. Messi was part of that story, of course.
But they will say Messi won.
Say Messi has won that, but guys are not going to say, "Oh, yeah, it's just Copa America." And if Portugal wins the UEFA Euro, let me just say Euros. If he wins the Euros, they'll be like, Portugal won and Cristiano won the Euros." Okay, next conversation. But until they say Cristiano won the World Cup. Bro, that's where everything
I think I get your point. Your point is it's Cristiano versus Messi. That's the point I think he's trying to put across.
I think for more, what I get from the whole point, like a perfect way to see your side, your angle, where you're coming from is like, for a player to be crowned as the greatest of all time, he should have won all the titles available at his disposal.
That's what you're trying to say.
Right? That's the point.
That's the best way to say it.
Any team he played for and there was a potential trophy, you should have won it.
I think it's not like that anymore. That's how it should be.
Level, rather. For example, Champions League is something that you ever played for in your life. Let's say Premiership, you can never have won it because you never played for any PL team. But if you're able to play for the World Cup, for the Copa America, for La Liga, for French League, you should have been able to put those in your cabinet to be cemented as the greatest of all time. That's a fair way to look at it as well. But on the contrary, where my side comes in is the point whereby your national team could have been there by chance and it just happened. And
that you win it.
And you did not win it or you win it. Right? Like what happened to Greece couple of years ago when they won the Nations Cup. I don't know if you remember.
No, I don't remember.
There was a time Greece won it from out of the blue, and since then we are there.
Yeah.
And so I get your side, which is very valid. Also, my side is very valid.
All sides are valid.
We will never really
debate.
Get a specific answer because what you're saying is 100% correct. That is how you want to see a player who has done it all.
Yes.
And for me, I'm giving you the point of that choice. National team, you're obligated to play with what you have. Club level, you can choose to play with what you want to excel better. But you know, like Pele, who knows what he did in his club level? Most of us do not know.
Which is true, but I heard that he was playing good stuff and he won trophies as well with his clubs. He was also playing for
Santos or something.
Yeah, but also I think he played in. Yeah, I think also he played in the European League before. I'll just have to double check.
Maradona, did Maradona have a Champions League? I don't think so.
I think the whole topic. If
in the meantime, I'll just double check.
Let's say as you're checking, if today, let's say if Argentina was out of the World Cup,
and
unfortunately Portugal too wouldn't even be having this conversation of who is the greatest player. You get what I'm saying?
It would have been a done deal.
It would have been a done deal. It would be a different conversation. Right now, the world just wants to see them face off. That's what's happening.
Okay.
But
it was so sorry to cut you short, bro. So Pele played for Barca for the fourth and final time in the preseason friendly. But this was in 1974. But the two clubs that he's known for basically is for Santos and the New York Cosmos.
Santos.
Yeah, but he played for Barcelona. I knew I had that from him. But then, so those are the two teams that he's known for. But he appeared like 636 times for Santos. Yeah. And let me see Maradona.
The Maradona mean Champions League? I don't think so.
But yeah, I think at that time, I don't know if how loud those leagues were at the time. With like the UEFA and stuff.
Champions League, right?
Yeah, it's Champions League. So Maradona played for of course
Napoli.
For Argentinos Juniors, Boca Juniors. He played for Barcelona. Plays for Napoli,
Inter Milan,
Newell's Old Boys, and then of course, yeah. So he has been here. He has been.
He was there during the Champions League already. If you played for Napoli in the 1990s or 1980s,
could have been, yeah.
There, so he was there, but yeah, they still call him one of the greatest.
The greatest, oh, who's the greatest? Pele.
Of course. World Cup is so nice because it's celebrated once
in 4 years.
That's what makes it special.
I'll call it 1 month in 4 years.
Yeah.
That is, so everything we are doing within that 3 years and 11 months is for that moment.
Like the final exam is on World Cup.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that it's that less frequent compared to other tournaments. I think that's the beauty of it at the same time. But think if it's like every year, it's gonna still have that. Messi hasn't won it. Messi will easily win it at some point.
Make it special.
Let's end the conversation like this, you know? Yeah. I think World Cup, back in the days, that's how the conversation would have been. But right now in the present world and how we're living right now, World Cup is not the determinant of the best player. Even though Messi or Cristiano won, Messi supporters will always be Messi supporters, and Cristiano will always have his fans, and you know they will always say Cristiano is the best, even though Messi wins the World Cup this year. You get what I'm saying? That's how it's gonna be.
We will continue.
That's debatable. That's debatable, but that's why I feel like Messi has his fans, Cristiano has his fans. Whatever side the World Cup will go, Cristiano and Messi, like there will always be a debate on that.
That's going to be a never-ending debate.
There will always be a debate on that.
If one of them just get it, we end this debate nicely.
Which like if they win the World Cup,
one of them just get this World Cup, we can.
That's it.
And of which I can bet none of them could win the World Cup this year. I could bet on that.
You think that they're not?
No, I could bet.
Which team do you think?
I think, like you said, Brazil. I also think Brazil has been through.
You think Brazil is going to win this World Cup?
Either Brazil or France, not really, man.
I don't think France is going to. Maybe Brazil has the potential right
Brazil,
now.
Bro.
That squad, they have the best players right now. That's the most intimidating squad I've seen so far.
Do you know that they could decide to change a whole game in the second half? Like,
yeah, they could decide to say.
They were 0-0 their last match. They were just lackluster. All they just brought in was Anthony, Jesus. It's like you can decide to play. You can decide to play like your Inter Milan today. Decide to play like your Real Madrid tomorrow based on your skill set available to you. You can decide to play like Barca the next day because you have the stars to do it.
I feel like first half is always for reading the player, like your opponents.
Reading the game.
Reading the game, yeah. So when they come back in second half, everything has changed. I think most teams it happens like this.
In the first couple of minutes is nervous. Everyone is nervous.
Everyone's nervous.
Do you guys know the oldest tournament? Football tournament ever.
Never. I'm not a big
grandfather.
I'm not a big football fan.
The first football tournament that was recorded.
Wasn't it the Premier League?
It's still currently going on up to now.
Yeah, it's the grandfather of all the
Premier League.
Premier League, I would say Premier League.
Oh, you could try.
Really? It's not the Premier League.
Not Premier League.
Champions League.
No.
What do you want to say?
Spanish?
It's the Brazilian.
No.
Is it one of the Spanish leagues? Or?
It's an English league. That's I've given you guys a very good clue.
Is it FA?
FA Cup, yeah.
Really?
Yes, man.
Wow. So the Premier League came after.
Premier League is just something from 50 years ago plus or something. No, it's more than 50 years. No, it's more than 50. It's going to, but FA Cup is the oldest.
Wow. That's a grandfather, indeed.
You can validate it quickly.
Okay, let's go. Let's first run back to the World Cup as we come to the end. do we have up to the stage we are right now? Do we have best players so far? Okay, of course not.
The World Cup.
So far, like players that are doing best. Who is your best player? Maybe. Do we have best players? I don't have any best players so far. I think everything is still, tense. Like the tournaments are still tense until we go to the knockoffs and then we go to the semi-finals. Maybe we can start to tell like this player is doing this player is doing this. But you guys have best players so far? Like
I think so far on the games I've watched,
yeah,
I'm really impressed with just two little kids in Spain. Pedri, bro. The way that guy was driving through Germany that day with experienced players, not children, but that guy is way beyond his age. Pedri for Spain, bro. And then he has that Gavi as well. Gavi was also killing it. But that guy, I've really been impressed with him, especially with that 7-0 for Spain in their last match.
Yeah.
That guy, man, watch out for Pedri.
Watch out for Pedri. For example, like last World Cup.
Did you check it?
FA is 1871.
Yeah, 1871.
Bro, that's long time.
That should be the GOAT if you win that. That should be the GOAT, man.
Yeah,
it's
for
the
sure.
beginning.
It's the beginning and the end.
For example, I remember last year's, not last year, like 4 years ago, I remember the man of the match. It was Croatia, right? Who was that player of Croatia?
Modric.
Luka
Modric.
I think he was the player of that World Cup. If we remember, I don't know if you remember. I think it was
Messi
the golden boot. Was it?
Golden boot was not Modric. It was
Let me again validate.
No, I feel like the player who won the hearts of the people was
Luka Modric.
Modric for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll agree with you 100%.
But I think Messi won player of the tournament.
Like that World Cup.
Yeah, in 2018. I think.
2018, yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. The tournament. Let's see.
It was Messi.
Wait a second. Who was the man of the tournament? It was Luka Modric was the man of the tournament.
Oh, the man of the tournament.
He's the one who won.
He won people's hearts, like really. This year's World Cup, I don't know like who you guys are betting on, but
and then
I think it's too early. It's too early.
Kylian Mbappe won the Best Young Players Award for that year. So, interesting.
Right now,
anybody who, I can tell you, if Argentina gets it, the best player of the tournament is Messi. If Portugal gets it, best player of the tournament is
Ronaldo. Yeah, that's
depends on the team. If
depends
Belgium
on the team, yeah.
is De Bruyne.
Yeah.
If it's usually how it goes most times.
Yeah.
If you get to the final, at least your player, one of your best player, there will be the player of the tournament. That's how it always is.
True.
I think these two soccer boys. I'm not a very big soccer fan, so I usually watch the World Cup. I'm just a poet, yeah. Yeah, not a big soccer fan, so it's all about you guys. So, but anyway, this was a very interesting podcast, and if you're all interested in this content, give us some shout outs, share the video, and keep following. More content is coming through. You know what time it is.
Yeah, so for today, it's been our time. My name is Joe.
And my name is Collins J.
Dubem K.
This is the Foreign Express Podcast, episode 2. Hope you guys liked it. See you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.